gorgeous ones. How are you? Just got out of the pool. I've got pool hair, summer dress. I know I'm looking a bit like something the cat dragged in, but I can tell you there's no way the cat dragged me in. How are you, lovelies? It is hot in Melbourne. It's just wonderful because, you know, I'm usually in Melbourne so blooming freezing and we're all complaining about the cold, and it's just lovely to have some beautiful summer weather. So tonight, in sort of, you know, recognition of summer, I'm going to cook a poached chicken salad. So, what was I doing? I was just getting out my coconut oil before. Can you hear this? You know it's hot when your coconut oil has turned to liquid. So we have got air conditioning in our house, but we don't use it because I'm sort of, you know, trying not to kill the planet. But we've got ceiling fans, but it is warm. It is very warm. Hello, gorgeous Susan. So I'm going to do poached chicken. Now the way I do it is I'm just going to put a bit of bit of oil in. So I don't know, just a splash. And I have, of course, got some frozen onions, because what meal is not complete without some frozen onions. So I'm just going to saute some of those in over here. And then what I'm going to do, I've got a couple of things. So I'm going to use this one, the za'atar. That's a bit like huzzah. This za'atar spice. It's a bit zingy because what I want to do is have a zingy chicken to go with the salad. This is brand new, this one. I better take the seal off. But what I'm actually going to do with this meal, this is actually going to be 2 for 1. So I'm going to poach the chicken in this sauce, pull some of it out to put with the salad, and then put vegetables in so that I've then got a chicken curry for the next night or the night after, or stick it in the freezer or do whatever. So that we've got, everyone else have trouble when you peel off the lid and you don't quite get it right, and now I'm sort of here stabbing it, thinking, gosh, please don't stab my hand because that would be bad in front of you all. I've already done multiple injuries in front of you on, you know, what is the equivalent of live TV. So basically, so zingy. It's zingy without spicy. It's not spicy. There's no spice in it. It's not hot, but it's just a bit of zing in it. So I'm just going to pour some of that in too, just a bit of a sprinkle. And then, while those onions are browning, the liquid that I'm going to poach it in is just good old coconut milk. And I'm also going to add a zest of some lime. So you know that I love this brand because it's got no fillers, it's got no colouring, it looks great, it looks a bit hideous. In fact, it looks like, you know, it does look like something the cats would drag in, but it's just untainted coconut flesh. And again, you know when it's hot, when your coconut cream hasn't separated out. So I'm just going to let that have a bit of a simmer. And while that's doing that, I'm going to chop up my chicken thighs. So, you know there's some sort of giant chicken shortage, but not for thighs, because everybody in the whole wide world thinks thighs are dud, except us. We all know that thighs are the best bit. They're the tastiest, they've got a bit of fat on them, they've got the protein, they're easily, by far and away, the best bit of the chook. So I'm just going to chop them roughly. I've got a beautiful, beautiful sharp knife, because I don't want them too small, because I want to be able to pluck out the chicken when it's poached for the salad and keep, because it's a big thing, like it's 1.5 kilos or something. What is it? Oh, it's actually only 1.2. It's not my normal big amount. It's 1.2 kilo of chicken thighs. So I'll just probably do half for the salad and leave half in for the chicken curry. I love a 2 for 1 meal. So lovelies, how have you all been? Think they're costing more than breast in your chicken shop, are they, Pen? Well, I don't know how they're going down here. I'm just going to give this a bit of a stir. So I'm just bringing this coconut cream to a simmer, and while it's doing that, I'm just going to, like my fingers, actually zest a bit of a lime in here. Would you believe it? These are both limes, just this one's faded and it looks like a lemon. So I am going to put a bit of, because I'll put some lime juice in. Lime, coconut and chicken go beautifully. If you don't want to do chicken or you can't get any, it would go beautifully well with a white fish. If you like white fish, something like a barramundi would be perfect. You could do it with salmon, a little bit more, you know, the salmons probably take over the dish a bit more. The thing about chicken, that's why everyone says tastes like chicken. Chicken actually doesn't have much of a taste. So, you know, it's a fairly bland meat, which is why you can flavour it. Now, if you've got fresh herbs, which I don't, something like some coriander, if your family tolerate that. I've got a husband that doesn't do coriander at all. So I'm just going to do that. And then over here, I'm just going to chop my lime in half and put that in my poaching juice. Should have probably given it a bit of a, you know how you can give them a squeeze or a roll on the bench to get a bit more out? It's a little bit tough. Anyway, pretty though, isn't it? Limes are so pretty, no wonder everyone likes them. So, good. So that's my poaching. Now, I reckon, you could do this two ways. You could poach your first bit of chicken, then pull all that out, and then just put the second bit in with your veggies, which is what I might do, because then I'm not going to get behind. So, basically, the onion's sort of softened, and I'm just flinging that in. You saw that, like it's not fancy. Just fling all that in. Just make sure it's all covered. You can put a lid on if you want, but you don't have to. So I'll just move that over there. Now, over here. So this salad would have been really great with some coleslaw, but I don't have any. So I'm doing it with just some shredded lettuce leaves I've got. So I've got some leaves. I'm just going to move over here so that I'm back in the picture. Back in the picture. So, good. So you can see I've got a pile, but because I want to sort of shred them, I'm just going to get out my knife and make a little shredding, bit of a shredding action. But it would have been really good with like a Chinese, one of those Chinese cabbages would be really good for this dish. But as I said, all I had in there was some mixed lettuce leaves, so that's what I'm doing it with. As you know, I'm a big fan of just use what's in the fridge. Doesn't matter if it's not perfect. In fact, nothing in life matters if it's not perfect. Okay, so that's the leaves done. That was easy. Now, I've got a capsicum. I was going to get all fancy and get out my mandolin, but I haven't used it for about 20 years, and I thought, I've probably no idea how to use it, so I'm not going to use the mandolin. The notification bell, and you'll get the reminder. Oh, somebody's talking about, yes, we've changed the time to 6 o'clock for the cooking show, mainly because I'm never on time for 5:30, and what would happen was I'd cook this meal and there's nobody around in my house, and then I'm having to kind of herd it from cats and all that sort of stuff. Plus a lot of people were saying they weren't home from work or they were driving home from work, and so I thought, you know what, 2022, I'm going to change it to 6 o'clock. The good thing is that I'm the boss of me, so I can do whatever I want, and if 6 o'clock doesn't work, I could change it to 6:30, or I could go back to 5:30. It's actually very handy not having to beat to the sound of anyone else's drum. How are you, Carolyn, anyway? Are you well? I hope so. I've got a couple of things I'm going to talk about while I'm just chopping this. So, here's something. We're all in a lot of Facebook groups, aren't we? Those of us on Facebook. So, there's a few medical Facebook groups around. And I'm in one. And I'm not going to say which one it is, but it's a group. And it's female doctors. Anyway, one of them put a sort of a funny video up and then attributed it to a particular person and said, haha. And I happen to know that particular person, and I know that that particular person is not in alignment with this group, and that's fine. But I was really unhappy with the idea that you could make a joke about one person, put up a video and say, haha, this is X's story. I thought that's not right. Now, when you know when you're putting your head on the chopping block? Yeah, it was like that. I thought, oh, I'm going to call this out, but I'm going to get slaughtered. And of course I did. So I put out, I said, oh, I don't think this is funny. I don't think it's necessary. This isn't part of, this isn't the spirit of the group. And of course the person who put it up got defensive. Then somebody else went into bat for her. So in the end, I said my piece. I didn't engage a lot, but it was one of those line balls. I'm thinking, will I say something? Will I not? Will I, but I just felt like, that thing when they talk about the standard you said is the standard you walk by, and I thought, no, I am just going to call it out, and maybe next time they'll think about it. Anyway, who knows whether they will or they won't, but it was a bit of a thing. Now, the person they were denigrating, I suppose could be the word, was Gary Fettke. So we all like Gary, and he has done an incredible job championing the cause of low carb. His delivery message may not resonate with everybody. I think that for a lot of people in the low carb world, there are people who, and we all know this, right? We all know this. We know that people know what to do and can't do it. That's what we talk about all the time. People, we know to do low carb, but we can't always do it. It's that, the physiology and the psychology. So look, anyway, in the meantime, I've managed to chop up a whole heap of capsicum into little things. I'm going to give my chicken a bit of a stir. It's not right, it's not ready yet. The beautiful thing about poached chicken, and I'm sitting back over here for the Facebook group, is that it's lovely and tender once it's cooked. It's not dry. Let's leave that, give that another go. So I think sometimes pick your battles. This is the summary from this thing. Pick your battles. Go in knowing. I went in just going, you know what? I know this is going to cause some ripples. It's not about me. And honestly, it's not about actually anybody. It was just about me saying, listen, I don't think it's funny to make a joke about somebody. Yes, you don't like them. Yes, you don't agree with them. You're in a closed Facebook group. And yes, Carolyn, those who don't mind that don't matter, and those who matter don't mind. Correct. And so I do think it's important, if you see something that you think is wrong, to call it out, but do it really lightly. It's not, that they could attack me, but it's not about me. They don't even know me. So if they want to, and they did, had a go, it's not about me. So that's one of the things I wanted to say. So just be mindful, okay? It's good. It's very good. It's very good to just call people out on their principles, but I also don't need to be right. Like they weren't going to back down. I said my bit. I don't need to continue on to be right. I'm just happy saying what I said. So that's one little tip. Now, I'm just going to get a little plate to put this chicken on. What have I got down here? I'm wearing a tiny little dress, summertime dress. So as I turn around, you get to see a big shot of my bottom. But it's so hot. So this chicken, and the only reason I could put it straight into the salad, but I just want to, I want it to cool down a bit. So chicken doesn't take very long to cook at all. So that'll be cooked. If you want to, you can test by obviously just cutting a bit open. Put that bit back in. But no, it looks good. Actually, how's that? Here I am banging on about those. It looks good. Quality control. I saw 3 bits that weren't cooked properly, so I'm just going to give it a couple more minutes. So I've just whacked it back in. We don't want raw chicken. So here's my sort of bit of a salad, and I've got, remember I was telling you guys I don't eat nuts anymore? Well, I don't, but I scuffled these out of my husband's drawer for the salad, and these are, my little cat's banging on the door, of course. I'm just going to put a handful of cashews in, and then I'm going to put them back into his drawer, because nuts and I have a love-hate relationship. Just a bit of crunch there. Now the other thing I thought I'd add into this salad, remember last week I was talking about my sauerkraut? I'm just going to put in a bit in here. It'll just go in a bit, add to the zing. Need a fork. And the other thing I've got to add into this is just a weeny bit of cucumber. I would have liked to put in a lot more, but I didn't have any. So just a little bit of sauerkraut, that'll get mixed in, because if anyone knows there's sauerkraut in there, they'll have a conniption, but mixed in like that. Seriously, this looks so awesome. I should have, I'm looking at the Facebook shot, the Facebook photo. Sorry girls, it's a bit dull. I'm actually standing in a blazing hot light, you wouldn't believe it. But I've realised I didn't turn my phone light up high, and it's screening on my phone. But anyway, again, doesn't have to be perfect. Done is better than perfect, as you know. So that's one of the things I was talking about. The other thing that has come into my being this week, alcohol. This is a really tricky time of the year. Everybody sort of, it's summertime in Australia. If you're watching from the States, I know it's cold and wintry, but if you're watching from the Southern Hemisphere, it's beautiful and warm. We've had all of our little sort of celebrations and it's lovely, but a lot of people have been chatting to me about their alcohol usage. They're worried that it's a little much, and if you're worried that it's a little much, then it probably is. So it's really interesting. A lot of people have a handle on the food. They can manage the food perhaps, but the alcohol is something they feel stopping is a bit hard. And one of the things I'd say, just bear with me while I concentrate on my chicken. Who here would like to cut down or eliminate alcohol from their lives? I mean, not everybody does. I know that there are plenty of people that have a glass once a week or something like that. But for lots of people, it really is another love-hate relationship. You like it, but it you know, a bit like me and the nuts, hard to regulate and doesn't always serve you well. All right, turn that down a bit. So I'm just going to let this chicken cool. But what I want to show you is, look how lovely that looks. It's so nice and summery. Then I'll put this chicken through it, and then basically, because the chicken's coated in a bit of sauce, it won't need much else. Then while this little thing's just cooking away, I'll just turn it down a bit, I don't want it to. Basically now what I'm going to do is get the rest of the chook, and I've gone, you know, I always do a fridge scrounge. I found all the old bits of, like, you know, multiple bags of spinach. I live with teenagers, what can I say? So they open a bag, new bag every time they want some. But it just, you know, it all needs to be cooked because it's looking a bit shabby. So, so I thought, all right, that can go in with the chicken. And I probably should have put the chicken in first. It doesn't actually matter. This is the whole thing. There's no rules. That's what I love. Lucy's cooking, no rules. The one rule is I will cook the chicken. I'll cut the chicken on the chicken chopping board. So, and I'm just going to cut this one a bit finer because I don't need it to be like the salad one where I want it in big chunks. So, here's the thing, right, with alcohol. Do people get worried? Oh, you're not finding it dark. Oh, wonderful. It's maybe just my phone. Thanks, Susan. That's cheered me up immensely. With alcohol, right, it's tricky because, again, conditioning, it's all about conditioning. Most people, when they think of alcohol, if I say the word cocktail, everyone thinks of fun, umbrellas, parties, colour, you know, good times. Glass of red wine, people will think of relaxing, unwinding, sometimes winter by the fire. Champagne, celebration, hooray, you know. And whenever people will often, frequently, do you notice this? When there's good news, they send the champagne emoji. So all of those symbols are buried in our subconscious. So when we say to people that we're not going to have a drink, basically in our head, we say, well, we're not going to have any fun. But again, it's often just your thought. So your thought creates your feeling, which is then what creates your action. So if your thought is that you're a party pooper if you don't have alcohol, and then you don't have alcohol, you're going to feel deprived, okay? Because you're already feeling like deprivation going on. If your thought is, alcohol doesn't serve me, it's causing me problems, I prefer my life when I don't have it, it's not about fun, I've been led to believe that it's about fun, but it's not. Note to self, never put the spinach in first. Always put the chicken in first. I'm now just stirring the chicken into the simmer sauce. But it's the same with food. So when people don't eat chocolate, like for me, you know, I used to be a chocoholic, you all know that. My whole life, I would think about like Saturday afternoon, oh, it's gonna be rainy and cold, I'm gonna sit on the couch and eat a block of chocolate and read a book. You know, oh God, I'm so tired, I've worked all day, I can't wait to sit on the couch with a bowl of ice cream. It was always about the idea that chocolate rewarded me, chocolate made me feel better, chocolate was my friend, ice cream, all of those, they're the same. And now I just look at them and go, I don't even need them, I don't know what I was thinking. Well, I do, but I don't anymore need that stuff, and I just don't eat it. It doesn't mean it never comes up, okay? Now here's something, just then when I said about cocktails, and we think cocktails and we think umbrellas and party, Mary and I were recording a podcast the other day, there's a little sneak peek, and in it, she was talking about a piece of fruit. She was talking about this bounty of fruit. As soon as she said the word bounty, what do you reckon came into my brain? Certainly wasn't a giant fruit bowl of fruit. It was a bounty bar, of course. So I haven't thought about a bounty bar for a long time. I haven't eaten one for a long time, but bang, as soon as she said the word, the image of the coconut with the chocolate was straight in there. And I was blindsided, and I said, oh, I can't believe it. We had a little chat about it. So our subconscious thoughts attached to things run really, really deep. So it's often worth unpacking some of those, actually challenging them and saying to yourself, well, am I a party pooper if I don't drink? Quite often you can still have fun. And for some people, again, alcohol can be like sugar. Some people can have one glass and just carry on for the rest of the night. Other people find as soon as they start, bang, they're all over and they've had one or they've had 5. They're the only 2 options, or 1 or 2 bottles. You know, there's no in between. And you have to know yourself well to know which person you are in that department. Back to the salad. All right, so the chicken's cooled down a bit. And basically, I've got my fork and I'm just gonna sprinkle this around. I'm gonna tell you, it does look very, very good. You could cool it down a bit more for a salad. And then the little bit of sauce, again, it's probably a bit warm, but I'm just gonna pour it on for you guys. That's like the dressing, okay? And then bang, you just sort of bit of a mix through. Huzzah, look at that. Looks so good. It is good, I'm doing it up close to you guys. It's basically, I've got my protein, chicken, got some fat, a few nuts, and the coconut cream, got my low carb veggies. Like, could not be easier. In the meantime, over here, my chicken's poaching, and what I'll do with that is I've got I've got an old zucchini. I'll fling that in as well, put the lid on, just let that simmer down, and then I've got dinner all ready now. And what I might do, so here's a tip, right? If you've got these and you find them a bit spicy, you don't have to put the whole lot in. So in this one, I'm just gonna put in half because it's already got the za'atar in it, and I just liked a little bit. And my husband doesn't like it too spicy. So I'm just gonna sprinkle a little bit in. Like, I reckon I've put maybe a third. So I'll just keep that for later. All right, lovelies. I'll show you a picture of both of them when I'm done, but you've seen the salad, looks magnificent. I know what I need to tell you. If you're on our mailing list, my apologies, because we do have the 12-week mind body rebalance. So there will be quite a few emails around that. Oh yes, mingle seasoning. I see you're watching me. Huzzah. So it is the Mind Body Rebalance opens starting on the 5th of February. You can't buy it yet, so so hold your horses. It starts on the you can buy it on the 31st of January. Cart's open for 5 days. We've got lots of bonuses for early birds, including one of our favourite mingle packages, of course, because I really want you guys to be able to cook like I do. 2 meals in 20 minutes, 2 at the same time. The other night I cooked, I cooked dinner. Seriously, I hate standing in the kitchen. It bothers me. It's hard for my back. It's not something I love doing. but yet I can produce these amazing looking meals with all the things that you need. So bonuses for early birds. You'll get lots of emails. Hopefully you're on our email list. If you're not, just sign up. You can get on the email list. If you get on the wait list, there's an extra bonus. Otherwise, my loves, I will see you tomorrow morning, Australia Day morning, just for a little chit chat. And I'm going to go and hop back in my pool for a bit more movement. So life's wonderful. Have a beautiful evening, darlings, and I will talk to you soon.